Hello and welcome back to another Women and Girls segment on the Burko Show. Today I'm joined by Sue Redfern, who is a former England player turned international umpire. Thanks a lot for coming on, Sue. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Carly. Thanks very much for inviting me.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming on. So can you talk us through, for anyone who doesn't know, your kind of history and journey with the game, and from your playing times to where you are now as an international umpire?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose you could say that cricket's in my blood. My dad used to play, my brother used to play. So I think it was inevitable as a young child, when I was trying different sports out, I'd eventually land with cricket. So very much runs in the family. I joined a local cricket club with my brother, played some junior men's, boys cricket, and then found a women's cricket club. And I was very fortunate at a very young age to be selected for England and play cricket for England, which was a great experience. I suppose I didn't really appreciate it until I was much older. Once my playing days finished, I was still involved in the game from a work purpose. So I work full-time in cricket administration. And back in 2012, when I stopped playing fully, I wanted to stay involved on a volunteer level, really, and coaching wasn't really for me. So I thought about umpiring. So it's taken off from there, and I've been very lucky to be given the opportunities I've been given to now umpire at a relatively high level. So yeah, I feel that cricket is very much my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way, Carly.
Yeah, I think that runs true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So just in terms of, obviously you mentioned kind of back in 2012 when you stopped playing and decided to get into umpiring, how did you go about that, and how does that process kind of work?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I suppose I wasn't involved in a cricket club locally where I live, because most of my cricket was over in the East Midlands, and I now live in the West Midlands. So I found my local officials association, which was Warwickshire, and they ran 13-week evening courses to go through your umpire qualification. So it was 13 weeks on a Monday evening. I remember it, for a couple of hours in a cold stadium over the winter, and learning the laws all the way through, and then there was an exam at the end. It's slightly streamlined now, so it's slightly easier to be involved. So it was great to have current umpires and ex-umpires take you through that course, just to learn the laws. And it made me appreciate that as a player, I didn't really understand the game fully. So it was a brilliant thing to do, not just to be an umpire, but to just learn more about the game and the reasons why the laws are in place, really. So yeah, went along to those courses, became qualified, and then I connected myself to a local league. It really took off from there, to be honest.
Yeah, and as you kind of progressed and like you say, began umpiring at a higher level, was there more training or more qualifications that you had to do, or was it just a case of getting out there and practicing?
Yeah, there's different levels of umpiring education, and then very much it's about observations and performance. So it's about obviously kind of like learning on the job. I think it's fair to say that every time I go out there, I learn something new about the game. I learn something new about me, about people. It's, people management. It's about game management. It's about just dealing with scenarios that, kind of like you just happen, I suppose. So, you kind of like learn something on the job every day. And I think those experiences build up to kind of like a knowledge base and help you become a better umpire, I suppose. So yesterday, I had the pleasure of doing 100 game. So again, that's something completely new with those regulations and learning kind of like that format of the game. So yeah, you learn something new every time you go out there, which is great.
And how was it doing the 100 game? Is it kind of easy enough to adapt to those regulations and rules, like you say?
Yeah, I was really nervous, if I'm being honest, because the life of an umpire, it's very routine and process driven. So every single ball, you reset and you do exactly the same thing, and your processes are exactly the same. Whereas, with the 100, obviously it's not 6 ball overs, it's 5 ball overs and things like that. So there was some significant differences, and I was concerned that the routines, it would be difficult to adapt to that. But it was amazing how quickly, with my colleagues, it became very easy to kind of like make that adaptation and just make sure where possible we kept this, routines the same, so we could make these changes and fit it in our routines a lot easier. So, definitely had some great colleagues yesterday. It was great to stand with two other female umpires, something that I don't get much opportunity to do because, there's not so many female umpires out there. There needs to be more, definitely. So it was a great opportunity to stand with some female colleagues, and had a great day in a new format. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, and like you mentioned there, obviously standing with other female umpires. How important is it for you that you're one of the first few to go out there and do international umpiring as a female?
Yeah, I feel incredibly privileged. I think history, historically before ICC and before ECB, there were female umpires in international cricket. And I think, unfortunately, kind of like that didn't progress. And I think the numbers are significantly lower than what we'd like to be in terms of kind of like female umpires out there currently umpiring. I think, when you look at, the trends of women's cricket participation, playing is on the increase, which is great. There's still not as many as we would like and hope, and we hope that cricket clubs up and down the country increase their opportunities for women's and girls cricket. But as that number increases, and as women's and girls cricket becomes more popular and increases, things like coaching, female in coaches, we're seeing increases in that as well. And hopefully that moves then into kind of like officiating. So I think there's an upward trend, and I think there's great opportunities now, and I think it's an exciting time to be part of cricket for being a female, because you are seeing those opportunities opening up for more people. So there are a number of officials association across the country at the moment who are offering girls only, women's only umpire courses, which in my opinion is a great step. It's brilliant, because we know that kind of like it is quite nerve-wracking, being that only female in an umpire course or in a coaching course, so actually being in a safe environment, learning in a safe environment, a female only group is a really positive thing. It's positive action, which is a positive thing to increase the number of female umpires. So, I think, like I say, it's an exciting time to be part of that, and anything I can do to help increase the number of female officials, that's brilliant for me. That's what you want to achieve. You want to leave the game in a better position than what it was when you were involved. That's ultimately what you want to achieve.
And just kind of converting that onto the playing field and standing as a female umpire, how do you feel when you go out in a game? And I guess for many it might be like you say, intimidating and daunting and nerve-wracking to do it. What would your kind of message be to any of them?
Yeah, so the key things for me, I still feel physically sick every time I go and umpire. That I don't think that will change. I get really nervous. I used to do that as a player, but I think it's a positive thing to have a little bit of nerves, because I think it means that you care and you want to do a good job. My advice to anybody going out and doing that is really kind of like, if you do the preparation, if you've understood the laws and you've gone through the laws courses, if you are open to the fact that you need to try new things, learn from others. I think, reading your regulations, understanding the laws, making sure that you go out and you've got that sound footing. And then when you get out on that pitch, be confident that you've done that and you can do that. Gender has got no, it's irrelevant what gender you are. Players, when I think back as a player, I just wanted the umpire to know what the game was about, to understand those laws. And I wanted the umpire to be fair and consistent in the application of those, so trust yourself, trust your training, and kind of like most of all, just enjoy it. Just, you have to enjoy it to be out there, or else it's going to be kind of like a difficult game. So my advice is go out and enjoy it, surround yourself with great people, learn from others, and that'll set you in good stead, I think.
Good. And I know you mentioned earlier, obviously, the female only officiating courses. What else do you think that we as a community and ECB can do to encourage more females to get involved in the officiating?
Yeah, I think across the entire game, I think visibility and showing that there are more females in different roles, having that visibility and being more proactive and, being more overt with it. So not being equal, probably being more than equal in terms of that visibility, just to show that women can do different roles and can be involved in cricket in ways, which ordinarily are perceived to be male roles. I think it's really important that that visibility is there. And I think, from an officiating perspective, actually ensuring that, once officials are trained, there's a proper program in place to support those new officials, which there are up and down the country. There are great examples of that already happening, but it's fair to say it's probably not happening in its entirety across the country. So making sure that the appointments being appointed with, with supportive colleagues who will help new officials, making sure that there's mentoring programs in place, and there's just really opportunities to umpire environments that umpire wants to umpire in, whether that be men's cricket or women's cricket. That's entirely up to the individual, I think.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of boils down right to club level, doesn't it? And
yeah, it does. Yeah,
needing
sure.
support at those levels too. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and then just kind of moving on to the game more generally, and where it's come in the last few years. As someone who obviously played a few years ago for England, how good is it for you to sit back now and see the progress that's being made, and obviously the introduction of these domestic contracts, and the advancements that are happening in the women's game?
Oh, it's just amazing, really, to see, how far women's cricket has come so far. And as an ex-player who, when I was playing, which is many, many years ago, Carly, we paid our way. It was very fully amateur in terms of, I held down 3 casual jobs to earn some money so I could take the time off to go and play for England. I wasn't paid whilst I went off to play for England. So to see that transformation and to see the opportunities now that are given to women and girls, and to see that it is a genuine career route for women, not just in playing but afterwards as well. I think that's really important to kind of like grow that game. And I think, kind of like for me, I feel very privileged and very fortunate to be part of the history of the game. When we think back to kind of like many years ago in 1926, I think it was, well before I was playing, in 1926, the formation of the Women's Cricket Association, the foresight of those women who were part of that founding body to kind of like create opportunities for women and girls to play, and then the transformation of the amalgamation of the Women's Cricket Association with what is now the England Wales Cricket Board in this country, to provide further opportunity and to start to professionalise the game has been so important. And all of the way through, the people involved in that is the history of the game, which has now led to the opportunity, I believe, for now the current players to be given those professional opportunities. And it couldn't come a moment too soon, really, in terms of those opportunities. It was important. I think back in 2014, the top tier of the England women were given the opportunity for professional contracts, but to actually embed and to make more women the opportunity to play professionally, which is outside of that England setup, is so key to grow the game and to entice more girls into the game, to keep them involved in the game for longer. Because up until this point, until kind of like, unless they were England level, they had to go out and find other careers and other jobs to sustain their cricket playing. Whereas now, that higher number of girls involved in the professional game at the domestic side, it means that they can stay in the game much longer and they develop their skills, and be role models for more girls coming forward. So absolutely imperative, and it's all part of the history of the game. And I hope we look back in 100 years' time, somebody else are running these podcasts and running, kind of like women's cricket, and we're talking about kind of like, what happens in 100 years' time. So, what does this lead to? It's a very pivotal time which can change the course of the future, really. So it's great, and it's exciting to be part of that.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like you say, it's a pivotal time. And from kind of your perspective, what do you think's next? What do you think's the next move for the women's game?
Yeah, it has to be the continuation and the increases of more professional contracts, the growth of the game. First and foremost, it's the growth of the game in clubs. You know, if recreational cricket clubs can open their doors to everybody in their community, can provide opportunities for everybody, including women and girls in their community, it will grow the game. And if we can get that, if we can showcase, we can improve the quality of cricket at every level, and then we can challenge, we can continue to challenge at England level. And I think, you know, thinking outside of just England, I think it's really important that the rest of the international game is catered for, you know, across the world. At the moment, there are a number of countries that are, you know, because of that professionalism, are moving ahead. And it's important that associate nations and international cricket is also competitive, and people across the globe are given those opportunities.
Yeah. Okay, great. And yeah, just finally touching on what you've just said about clubs there, what would your advice be to any young girls who might be wanting to start cricket, or any, you know, older girls that might want to get back involved?
Yeah, absolutely. Cricket is changing, Carlys. So if you've had a previous experience with it, you know, try again, because I think, you know, the doors are more open now, and the opportunities and the environment is much better. And for girls new to the game, you know, give it a go. Like, I suppose there's no other sport like it. I mean, I am biased completely. I'm not gonna deny it. But you know, cricket has got a role for everybody, really. You know, kind of like if you want to be a bat bowler, fielder, you know, wicket keeper, there's different roles which you can try within a game. So it's a team sport, but there is individual targets within that. So, you know, it really is kind of like a special sport, in my opinion, which can provide and cater for everybody of any ability, and can provide, you know, whether you just want to play it recreationally and just for fun, you've got softball cricket now, you know, or whether you actually want to go through the route of recreational competitive cricket, you know, hardball leagues at different levels, 8-a-side through to kind of like 11-a-side cricket and beyond. And there's more opportunities to progress now than what there ever has been. So yeah, give it a go, really.
Right, it's a great note to end on. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, Sue. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Carly. Take care.
Bye.